welcome to Tesla Emperor Without Clothes. Welcome to today's Tesla Negative News Roundup for February 9th, 2021. We've noticed that there's an overwhelming amount of positive Tesla press out there, so we decided to take a look through the Twitter feeds on Tesla Q and consolidate all the meaningful news that's negative about Tesla for the day. Today, we're going to start with this tweet from Fly for Dat, and he reported something interesting. This was in connection with the fact that there's been a lot of talk about the Tesla $1.5 billion investment into Bitcoin, and everyone's speculating why they did that. One of the theories is that they did that to cover up all the bad news coming out of China. Apparently, there are problems with the regulators there looking into Tesla's quality and potentially even not abiding by the law. But in any case, this theory that the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology in China, or the MIIT, was changing the penalties it assesses against ICE automakers and hybrid automakers, whereby they have to buy carbon credits to offset their carbon emissions. Here, Fly for That is speculating that this, as he puts it, tiny bit of news could cost Tesla $800 million in margin this upcoming year. So later in the day, this tweet showed up from Motorhead at Brad Yunkin, where he says that he understands that a lot of U.S. hedge funds were long because they believed that there would be a lot of carbon credits that would be needed in China. These are these ZEV credits. And he points out that in 2020, Tesla's GAAP net profit of $721 million would have been a loss of $567 million without these regulatory credits. It's not been clear who exactly is buying these credits. We know that there's been an arrangement with FCA, but apparently some have been sold into China. And apparently the math pointed to 1.1 billion in 2021 ZEV sales for Tesla just in China, which obviously would have been very lucrative. But apparently with the MIIT changing its guidance, Motorhead here indicates that things turned against Tesla, and the lower penalties on the makers would slash the number of credits sold dramatically. In his third tweet here, Motorhead points out that Tesla would see only $330 million in credit sales in 2021. And, they were looking at, I guess, anywhere from $825 million to $1.4 billion. So obviously this would be a huge blow to Tesla's profitability. One thing that we would like to point out is that we have not independently verified the information in these tweets. If you would like to do so, you are welcome to, of course. We are providing you with the tweets as they appear on Twitter. So as long as we are talking about Tesla's investment in Bitcoin, this tweet actually is from yesterday, but it is relevant in that it's interesting that Rob Kozlowski points out, and this was news not just from him, but news that was openly available elsewhere, that for the third year in a row, Tesla is skipping 401k match for its employees, which is an interesting thing given that they raised quite a bit of money, over $10 billion during the year in 3 separate equity raises. And as I'm sure you know, Elon Musk's compensation package was extravagant. So it's an interesting thing to note that they would not be matching 401k contributions for their employees. On a separate tweet, which we don't have up here, we read that they might be the only company in the S&P 500 to so not match employee 401k contributions whatsoever. Once again, unverified information, but if it's true, it's certainly interesting and disappointing. Next, we turn to this tweet from Fly for Dat. He points out that the California DMV released the 2020 testing data for the autonomous vehicle testing program. It's a trove of data, and it is available on the California DMV's website. But a couple interesting things were noted here and in the comments. Some of the most interesting things are that Tesla accrued no mileage whatsoever in California, and that separately, Tesla obviously did not have any disengagements of its autonomous system in California, which makes sense, being that they weren't logging any miles there. Here we're on the California DMV's website looking at the disengagement reports relating to the autonomous vehicle testing program. And as you can see, Tesla is in fact not included amongst the manufacturers that filed disengagement reports. Separately, scrolling down, you'll see that sure enough, they are on the list of companies that did not report disengagements because they did not accrue any miles. Interestingly, the California DMV website includes a section listing the permit holders for the autonomous vehicle testing program. Those permits are broken down for either testing with a driver or driverless testing. Here you could see that very few companies hold driverless testing permits, and in fact, Tesla is not amongst those. Cruise and Waymo, which combined racked up the most miles in California by far, are amongst the holders of the permits. Our next tweet is from the Naked Caller, and it relates to Tesla's claims that they do not advertise. Here, the Naked Caller highlights that they do in fact have a cross-referencing deal with Swissquote, which is an internet broker and financial institution in Switzerland. And here you can see on their website, we want to just show you what they say with respect to Tesla. This is pretty clearly a cross-promotional deal. So while Tesla does not do any direct advertising, it certainly does this. Our next tweet is from one of our favorites, Kubiko. Kubiko here just copies a Motor Trend article where they tested Cadillac's Super Cruise in what appears to be the new Escalade. And the headline is that it's better than Tesla's autopilot. So looking through the article, which is available on motortrend.com, and we highly recommend that you do check it out, a couple things jump out. First, they note that first and foremost, everyone should be aware there are no true self-driving systems available from any manufacturer right now. So that's just an important thing that everyone should be aware of. Otherwise, the gist of the article is that the on-road performance between the two systems is incredibly similar. There are some areas in which Super Cruise excels. There are a few other areas in which Autopilot excels. But by and large, they said the systems were very similar in terms of performance. However, they note that in terms of safety, Super Cruise is well ahead of Tesla's Autopilot. Particularly, they mention that Super Cruise is much better about alerts and notifying the driver when he or she has to take over, and that separately, Super Cruise is also monitoring the driver with a camera, which Autopilot does not. So, once again, their conclusion is that the systems are very similar, GM's system is much safer, and so they conclude that overall, Super Cruise is in fact better than Tesla's Autopilot. Our final tweet is from Dr. Van Nostril, who's retweeting from Gurney Passat, an unfortunate Model 3 owner that only has 4,000 miles that is unfortunately getting hauled off on a flatbed for the third time. Unfortunately, this can be Tesla ownership. Thanks for joining us on this roundup. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we look forward to bringing future roundups to you.